Uh, well, next up, I saw the film Candyman, sequel, soft reboot of a horror film that I will admit I have not actually seen. But after watching
But
this,
I
I
have.
kind of want to watch the new. Yeah, Zach's seen the original.
I've seen the original. I haven't seen the new one.
Yeah, I've seen this new one. I watched this out of the blue. I just decided to go see it after helping my sister's fiance change the oil in his car. He just was like, "Hey, you want to go see a movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we saw that. It was pretty good. I actually I liked it for the most part, and it's one of those things where I liked it enough that I'm like, "Oh, I want to check out the original one." But
Okay.
I don't know if I see the original, it's gonna make me think, "Oh, that sucked." Is it like, "Oh, this
Oh,
wasn't
it's
as
like the new
good."
one sucked because
Yeah,
the original
like
is better.
is it just ripping off the original? But
I don't know.
the idea for this movie, without going too much into spoilers, is that a painter gets inspired by a story he hears about this neighborhood, which I think the story that he hears is literally the first movie, like told as like a almost like a scary story.
Like a folk tale.
Yeah, because they talk about some white lady reporter who goes to this area, or was it a reporter? I can't remember. But she goes to this area, and then they say she goes crazy, and she like kills a Doberman, and then like she goes into like a fire, and she tried to burn someone's baby, and there's like this whole tale. And I think they were.
Hmm.
I don't know if was that the first movie. Is that something to do with it?
Most of that is
Okay,
vaguely
okay, so that's kind
familiar.
of cool. Because I didn't know that until like after the fact. I guess they were implying that that was the story. But he hears about it, and he goes to this town to kind of find inspiration because he goes off of the story of oppressed African Americans and kind of finds inspiration to paint stuff off of tragedies in a way.
Right.
And he takes this kind of almost brutal approach to this incident of this old man who was mistaken as some kind of serial killer and was beaten to death by cops. And he like paints this image, and then I think you've seen from the trailer, there's like, oh, you can summon Candyman if you like look in
Hmm.
the mirror, like the whole Bloody Mary thing.
Yeah.
And he does that and inadvertently like summons this entity back, and things start to happen, and it's genuinely like for the most part well done. And I thought, oh, this is a creepy concept. The acting's pretty nice. It's actually pretty well shot. Oh, this has got some nice visuals and some good cinematography. You're kind of going along, and things get more and more messed up. There's some bad use of CGI. There's one part where
Oh.
there's a close-up shot in a mirror with CG, and like it's a real person next to a CG character, and you can tell like it's really obvious.
Oh.
Which I'm just like, why didn't you just use some prosthetics for this one character? If you see it, you'll know what I mean. It was very like this is obviously a computer generated effect. Why do you have these two side by side?
Sure. Sure.
Like, it
Yeah.
was just like really obvious. But the movie was good up until the end. The end lost me. Because all of a sudden they started to go into, instead of the idea of this guy accidentally summoning this entity, into like a chosen one angle, and like he was meant for this. And I was like,
Okay.
okay, you've lost me. Like I thought this
His
was like
his destiny was to bring back Candyman.
exactly, that's how they play it off. And I'm like,
Uh,
spoilers, I guess. I'm sorry, but like it's like they play it off like it is his destiny, and I thought it was more creepy and interesting the idea that he accidentally like caused this, but instead it's like no, you were meant for this. And it's like, all right, you kind of lost me at the end. It's kind of got
yeah.
a neat end to the movie, like the ending, but like the third act point was just like, yeah, no. But because of this
No.
movie, it's made me want to look into the original. And you said it's really good, right? The original Candyman.
Yeah, it's not like you're. I don't want to say too much. It's like you go into a horror movie, you expect certain like criteria,
Yeah,
and Candyman kind of does its own thing,
because
and it's really nice.
it's not supposed to be a slasher, right?
No, it's more of like a thriller type thing. Like
Because
it really keeps you on your toes.
that's what this
You're
one
not
kind of
quite
felt
sure what's
like.
going on.
It
Yeah,
didn't really feel like a slasher. It felt more like a thriller. But like I said, I
which
don't know if this one was just kind of ripping off the first one. I don't really know. Like
I don't know. I mean, obviously, it has a lot of like. Oh goodness, what is the word? I'm stroking again, William.
similarities. Is that the word you're looking for?
Huh? It
Similarities?
took a lot of
Inspiration?
similarities. Inspiration. There it is.
Yeah, your brain can work.
Uh, yeah, my brain can work. It took a lot of inspiration from the original movie. I mean, being a reboot of whatever whatever it is, a sequel.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm pretty sure from what you've told me and what I've heard, it's probably more of a sequel than anything.
which is really cool. I'm happy that we're bringing back good things. That makes sense. Like we did the whole reboot of Jurassic Park. We unfortunately did Star Wars. We're
Well, my opinion on that is like, yes, these are properties that everybody loves and they're continuing them, but at the same time, I'd like to see some new stuff because all this one made me do was like think, I wonder how good the original one is, because I might watch the original
which
and
is,
just be like, why'd they make this one when this one's perfectly adequate?
but you would have never wanted to watch Candyman having not seen this movie.
That's not true. I mean, it's one that's been on my radar. I get what you're saying for someone who's like never thought of it. Like that's a movie that I've thought of, and I just saw this one was coming out, and I was like, oh, this is technically
Right.
like a reboot, so I guess I could watch it. But like
I
for
don't know. It's just like putting things on people's radar. Like Candyman's a good movie. Like go watch the original one if you got the time for it.
yeah, and if you
The fact that they're bringing it back, they're putting it on people's radar. It's great. Like it's wonderful.
yeah, I'm just like I said, I don't know until I see them both because there's a couple scenes in this one. There's one that's like a pointless like gore horror scene that I was like, if you cut this out, the movie wouldn't change. There's like one
Hmm.
part where it's like that was pointless, and I'm like, is that in the original or was that added? Like, am I gonna see the original and feel like, oh, this new one is just trying to do different shit for the sake of it?
This is probably the biggest spoiler of the original one. There's only 3 deaths in the original Candyman.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One of them,
There's like,
like that's not what the goal of the movie was. Like
yeah.
you think Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, where it's just like a murder fest. Like that's not what Candyman is.
Well, what was weird is there's one good death in the whole movie. There's a lot of people that die in this movie, but a lot of like the death scenes were like the least interesting. There's one that's like with some awful dialogue, like talking about like fucking corpses and stuff and these like edgy characters, and it's like really stupid, and the dialogue is
Interesting.
like, you'll know like if you watch it, there's like I think it's like
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna watch
first
it.
it's like the first like murder scene. Like the dialogue in that is awful. It's like
Mm,
really cringy. It kind of makes you feel like, is this the rest of the movie? But
right.
then the next one, like, it's like, oh, that was really creepy. And then there's one that was kind of in the trailers where it involves a bathroom of girls. And that one, if you cut it from the movie, nothing would change. I don't know why it was there.
Huh.
It's really like just there to have like a gore scene, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of pointless.
The original Candyman didn't have that. Like that wasn't the point of the movie. That they didn't.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like if I watch this original one, am I gonna look at this one like, oh, that was just kind of trying to make this something it's not, you know?
Right.
Oh, we need the Candyman to be more like Jason or Michael Myers, where he's this entity that kills everyone. Where you're saying the original, like 3 people die. Like that's not really the point.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in seeing the original than revisiting this one.
Yeah.
And I think it would be interesting for me to watch it and then you to watch the new one, and I'd be curious to feel
Yeah.
our
And then
opinions on it.
we'll have this conversation swapped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
that'd be neat. But no, I mean, it's a pretty decent horror movie. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but if you're into horror, I'd check it out. And I mean, if you've seen the original Candyman, I don't know, watch it and tell me what you think of the new one.
So what next? It's my turn to talk about something you haven't seen yet.
Yeah,
All right. Star Wars Visions.
Star Wars anime, dear lord.
It wasn't bad. Some of them I were not a fan of, but most of them were good.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
Well, there's a lot of like tropey things that come with
Anime,
anime, and I
yeah.
feel like some of them turned a little hard into it.
That's my biggest thing with
Mm.
like when this was announced. I'm like, I have never really liked anime. I have seen in recent memory, I've seen one anime that I liked. That was Princess Mononoke. That was really good.
Oh yeah, Studio Ghibli stuff is great.
But then, like, the trailer for this, it's like if they're gonna monologue in their heads or monologue in general and yell, and the background's gonna turn to a solid color with streaks and they're screaming, I'm out.
No, there
It's
wasn't
like,
any of that. There wasn't any of that.
yeah, I still.
Three of them I would recommend. Like you have to watch them because they're really fucking good.
How many are there?
There are 9.
So
3 of them
less
are
than
must
half.
watch.
So less than half.
No,
are
no,
good.
no, no, no. Listen.
Okay.
3 of them are like you. Like I would like when we're done recording this, go watch them because they're fucking good.
Okay.
The rest of them you can kind of watch at your own leisure, whether you want to or not. You would enjoy what is it, 2, 3, and 6. You wouldn't enjoy.
I wouldn't enjoy 2, 3, and 6.
You would not enjoy 2, 3, and 6.
Okay.
Somebody else would probably love them, but you wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm biased.
I mean,
with terms of
looking at
anime.
it,
It's like just never really liked it. I've tried.
and it's
just like,
fine. Everybody's got their own taste, but these all have different different flavors, really. Like they're all different. None of
Well,
them.
in comparison to like What If, this is like each one is a different studio, right?
Yes, each one's a different story. Each one's a different studio. Each one's different characters. Like nothing overlaps with this. Unlike What If, where all of these stories come together at the end.
Which doesn't make any sense for What If. It's supposed to be like, these separate Elseworld stories.
Well, if you watch the show, then you'd know.
I guess, yeah, I shouldn't be talking about
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
but doesn't make any sense. I haven't even seen it. But
No, but like watch episode 1, watch episode 5, and then watch episode 7. Those three you would very, very much enjoy.
yeah, I still
1
haven't.
was my favorite. It's so good.
That's what I've
7
heard.
was really,
I've
really
heard one
good,
is really
and
good.
5 was a very close second for like episode 4 was good. Episode 8, or excuse me, episode 9 was good. Episode 8 was all right. 6, 2 and 3 were kind of those tropey kind of
Yeah, I'm
like.
not opposed to checking it out, but it's just really like it's weird because it's Star Wars, but I'm just like, nah, I'll watch it whenever I get around to it. Like,
Yeah.
usually I'm like there for Star Wars, I want to watch it the minute it comes out. But this I was just like, yeah, I don't know. It's like
No.
I still haven't watched it, but I'll probably check it out at some point. I'll probably check it out before I check out What If. Honestly, like
I mean, like just seeing the different animating styles, the different art, the different, all of it was good. Like I'm not gonna say like it was bad. It's just like it's just different flavors.
Yeah.
Episode 6 might be somebody's favorite one out of the whole group, but for you it would be like you would be like, what is this? What's happening?
kind of make me want to just watch it just to see what the hell.
I
You're
mean,
talking
like
about.
watch them all if you could like
Stomach it.
bear it.
Yeah.
I'm just like I know you and I know like what you look for in things and
Yeah.
the
No.
fact that you don't have to watch all of these to understand what's going on, like you could live without watching the certain ones. But I
In
watch
terms
them
of
at your leisure.
in terms of like the animation of them, are they drastically different from one another?
Oh yeah, they're all different. Like the first one is mostly just black and white.
Okay.
It takes its real like manga style to it. Manga.
Is it all 2D?
Some of it is. I think one of them is 3D, if I can remember. I think 9 is. I don't know. It's hard to tell now with things. Like I don't know what's 3D and 2D anymore. Used to be able to tell, but now there's so different like art styles. It's
Yeah. Now from the trailers, most of it did look 2D to me.
yeah.
I was just curious because it was, from what I've heard, each episode is its own studio. So it's like, are they different animation styles? Or are they all kind of similar?
No, they're all different in their own little way. I like even like some of them take a very like cartoony approach to it.
Yeah.
Some of them have like the real like the big anime eyes, and they're all like stubby people, and the rest of them are just like they're evenly proportioned. They're take
Yeah.
a more realistic approach to things. And like I've had the conversation with you where like the only reason why I would want something to be animated is if you couldn't do it practically. Like I'm all for animated shows because you can get that extra expression out of things. You can emphasize certain stuff that you just couldn't do practically.
Yeah.
That was Star Wars Visions. Go watch them.
Watch
They're
them all
good.
or watch some.
Watch them all. Fuck it.
You're just like, do it.
Show some appreciation for these people's hard work and the time they put into this.
Oh, yeah, animators get the shit end of the stick usually. So
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
No, I'll
Stop
definitely-
bitching about paying $60 for a video game. These people work hard.
what if it's a broken game?
Well, pay them more to fix it.
Oh, it's okay. Launch a broken game. Just give them more money. They'll get it working at some point. Okay. Well, I saw a movie called Venom. Let There Be Carnage, and you haven't seen it.
Nope, I haven't seen it.
Isn't Venom like your favorite
It's a
character?
shame. It is. Don't
Don't you love Venom?
I do like my Venom.
Yeah.
My little gooey pal.
What'd you think of the first movie?
I was happy to see him have his own movie,
Yeah,
but I wasn't incredibly.
it was pretty dumb.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was.
Yeah, and I think the buzzword around this one is just that it's more self-aware, which in a way it's very similar. It's just not as serious in its tone. The one thing I did like that they played into more was Eddie and Venom's relationship is treated very much so like a romantic comedy
Yeah,
or like bickering roommates.
yeah.
That was probably the better part of the movie. But they don't really establish the symbiote's powers that well, because I feel like he's just able to make shit up as he goes. Because in the first movie, was Venom swapping to other people had negative effects, right? Like he was with Eddie and he was like slowly like destroying his body. Wasn't that a plot point?
Like he was eating his like liver or
Yeah.
something.
And then like in
But like, but he can fix it too. So he's just kind of like,
I couldn't remember because in this movie Venom swaps around quite a bit at a point, and I'm like,
okay,
shouldn't this be like a negative effect to these people? I couldn't remember if that was a thing in the first movie. It's been so long since I've seen that first one, but I thought it was like,
yeah, in the
it was bad
in
for
the
him to
first
do that.
movie. In the first movie, they had a bunch of like test subjects, and he was like, they've completed perfect symbiosis. Like,
Yeah, there was like a whole issue with people connecting with these things, and Venom just kind of.
But then
In this movie, Venom latches on to drunk people and then leaves them in the street vomiting. Like, it's like, are they gonna die? Like, it's not really a spoiler, but that happens at one point. I was just like, did he just kill that person? What the fuck did he just do? Like,
I don't know. I'm sure. I'm not sure.
yeah, but this movie was really dumb. It was very self-aware. It did not take itself seriously at all, and I guess if you're looking for that with Venom, then you'd get what you want. Woody Harrelson is just kind of eating up the scenery. He was fun. I enjoy him, and he was playing a serial killer, and he had some fun moments. He was able to just like be goofy, and how he gains his powers of Carnage. I'm not a comic book guy. I don't know if that's how it happened. I guess it would be considered a spoiler.
Bites Eddie Brock.
Okay, yeah, so
They showed that in a commercial.
okay, well, spoilers, I guess. He bites Eddie, and then through Eddie's blood, Carnage comes to be. Is that how that happens in the comics?
Okay. So the original comic was going way back. Spider-Man goes through a portal, gets an alien suit, comes back, finds out the suit's real, gets it ripped off. Company that took it off of him takes all of his eggs out, which makes all the other symbiotes. Eddie Brock gets the suit, becomes Venom, goes to prison. He breaks out of prison with the suit. I don't remember exactly how it happens, but he leaves one of his eggs in the prison, and that's how Cletus Cassidy gets Carnage.
Okay. Yeah, no, Carnage just materializes out of blood in this movie.
Like I don't know if they like mention in the new one that Carnage is Eddie's child, or Carnage is Eddie's.
Venom, he calls Venom
Carnage's
father at some point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess.
There's a whole. I could send you the diagram of
I don't
Venom's,
really want to like see his family tree. But
yeah, you can see Venom's family tree.
No, but
because it's like Riot in the original comics was a son of Venom, but and I guess in this movie they're just fellow aliens from space.
I don't know. Yeah, this movie is just like, I wouldn't even say there's really like a lot of fun action scenes or anything. It's quite like, thinking back at it, there's not much that happens. It's kind of boring in a lot of parts. The best parts are with Eddie and Venom kind of bickering, but even those scenes don't really lead to that much half the time. It's kind of just like taking up screen time. The movie's not that interesting visually, and like even the CG just looks as good as the first one. And the movie was directed by Andy Serkis, so you'd think there'd be a little more attention to the visuals because of his work on the Lord of the Rings films and the Planet of the Apes movies. But like Venom looked about as good as he did in that first movie, so it wasn't like amazing. Like I was expecting to see more creativeness with the CG effects, but there really wasn't. And maybe that's just.
I wasn't incredibly impressed with the first movie, and seeing some of the trailers for the second one, like when they first announced it, I was like, oh, what are they doing to my boy?
Yeah, he's just, I don't know, he's just kind of he's a goo monster.
He's a goo monster, and now he's angry, and we gotta work on his aggression, and it's like.
But the whole plot with stopping Carnage, it's just kind of there. It's like, oh, he's kind of mad at you. He might come and get you. Oh, he's gonna come get you. Oh, well, now fight. It's just like, yeah, I don't know.
Like I was sure that they were gonna do Carnage great because he's just like destroys everything in his wake.
Yeah, he turns into a tornado at one point. It's really stupid.
Oh man,
he just starts.
You're gonna make me not one.
It's a red spinning tornado. This movie's definitely like a fetish, right?
Like a Goo Fetish?
There was no good action scenes in the movie. The movie just kind of happens and then it's over.
Interesting.
It was I laughed a decent amount. I thought it was entertaining with the interactions, and that was like the only really good part of it. Or like the character interactions to me.
Yeah.
Mainly between the main two, not necessarily everyone else. Like Woody Harrelson's fun, but he doesn't really have tons to do.
Right. The thing with Cletus Cassidy, like he's insane. Like there's no rhyme or reason to anything that he does.
Well, they give him a reason in this.
Like
They
no.
give him a whole angle, so you might not like that.
I knew I was gonna like that because in the fucking commercial they say that I'm not an evil man, I'm just a vengeful one. It's like no, Cletus is just insane.
I mean, they imply insanity, like, of how he became to be, but I mean, they give him an angle in the movie that, like I said, he's going after his girlfriend. Like, he has a motivation. He's not just doing things for the sake of it, if that makes sense.
No, he put himself back in jail because Deadpool could figured him out for a week. Like he's just insane.
No, and like I said, they don't give him enough to do, I feel. And the movie, you can tell, wants to be R-rated, but it doesn't. Like, they have a whole F-bomb at one point. Like, it's supposed to be triumphant, and it wasn't. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it's just like, I don't know. There's a end credit scene that everybody's been talking about. I won't talk about it here, but everyone's more interested in the end credit scene than the actual movie itself, which I'm like,
oh, you gotta.
That's kind of sad. Like, any of those movies where they're like, the movie was kind of but the end credit scene, it's like, that's not worth watching a movie. If you want to be caught up with the Sony cinematic, whatever they're doing with this and the Morbius vampire dude, like if you're for some reason into that, you probably would check it out, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's like passable at best. It's just like when I first saw it, I was like, that was entertaining, and I don't think it was as bad as people say. But then, the more I thought about it, it's just like, there's nothing to this movie. Like, there's nothing to really think about or talk about. Like, it's just like, it's whatever. And it didn't
they
have
really
Woody
did make
Harrelson
these really
wear the Ronald McDonald wig, so the movie's pointless. Why go watch it?
Yeah, because everybody made fun of him for that.
That was why it was funny, though. The end of the end credits for the first movie where he's got the fucking red afro on. Like, just, he didn't have that in this movie. It's like, why? I mean, hey,
Savant. His name was Savant.
This is his name, Savant. I don't remember them saying Ricochet, bouncy ball. I thought it was Ricochet.
I mean, that's what he was doing. He threw the ball and it ricocheted off the wall.
But he just swam in the water and blew up, and then a bird ate his brains.
Fuck you, bird.
Yeah, Carnage.
Start talking about
Suicide Squad again. So I've seen another movie that Zach hasn't seen, which is probably one of my favorite movies I've seen this year, that being Last Night in Soho, which is directed by Edgar Wright. Yeah, no, I think it's really good. It's the premise is pretty much a young college girl moves to London, and she has kind of some abnormal abilities to see certain things, and she's able to see the life of this woman that she kind of starts to see as a role model from the 1960s of London, and she starts to piece together a story of events through these kind of visions, and I thought it was very cool. I like the camera work and all the visual storytelling in the movie was really fun. The characters were fun for the most part. The main two leads were really good, who played the girls in both parts of the present and the past. I really liked that. It was fun. I wouldn't say I liked it as much as something like Baby Driver. Now, I haven't seen all of Edgar Wright's work. I'm going to be honest. I haven't watched Scott Pilgrim. I haven't seen Shaun of the Dead. Soho, I really did enjoy, and in terms of a lot of the stuff I've seen this year, it was definitely one of my more favorite, and I would definitely recommend checking it out. I don't want to give too much away about it. This is one that I was more like really into, so I'm like, you need to see it, The ending kind of moves into a bit of I don't know if I want to use the word schlock, but it kind of moves into a schlocky territory where it's a little over the top, but it still fits for the most part. The soundtrack choice of these old 60s songs were really fitting, and those are really fun to listen to throughout the movie. No, I definitely recommend checking that out, and I'd be curious to hear what you think about it, Zach, whenever you get around to watching it.
Yeah, I'll definitely add it to the list of things that I need to do.
No, there's some other stuff that we could talk about, but I think we're going to save those for their own discussions, that mainly being like Dune, and Zach wants me to watch Tomorrow Wars, so we can both talk about that. Apparently he wants to talk about that. So.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what you think about that movie.
But that's about it for this episode. Hopefully this wasn't too long. I might have cut this into 2 parts depending on how long it was. But thank you so much for watching.
Well, now that that's over, I'll see the rest of y'all later.